Superstar 64. Sounds stupid to call someone toxic because they defended a work they like from being shat on for no reason. Oh, what's going on, Superstar? You're one of them. So, for sitting there and saying that Mark Waid is troubled. He said that Mark Waid is troubled. There's no evidence there at all that Mark Waid is troubled. No evidence at all. Mark Waid literally gave it his opinion that Superman, James Gunn's Superman, he's excited about it. He believes that James Gunn is being respectful to the source material, that he's not taking it seriously, which is a good thing. And he compared how he's not taking it too seriously to Zack Snyder's films. That's what he did. He said, he's not taking it too seriously. He's got a dog that shoots lasers out of his eyes. Or not lasers, heat vision. Heat vision out of his eyes. You look at that compared to Zack Snyder's. It's not like Zack Snyder's. Zack Snyder took his films very seriously. That's what he did. That is what Mark Waid did. Yet he's troubled for saying that. He's troubled. He's a troubled individual for saying that. And that's not toxic for somebody to say that? That is pretty toxic, Superstar. There's no other way to put that. And here's the thing. If this was a one-off thing by Rizvi Azad, whatever his name is, I can't say his name because I'm terrible with names. If this was a one-off thing by him, I would say, okay, maybe you're right. Maybe it's not toxic. But you go on his X account and you will see countless posts from him just butchering and bashing James Gunn in the DCU. For no reason. James Gunn did nothing to him. James Gunn did nothing to Zack Snyder. James Gunn did nothing to the Snyderverse. Not a single thing. He had nothing to do with Zack Snyder leaving Warner Brothers. He had nothing to do with the Snyderverse ending. Not a single thing. But these Snyder fans, these Snyder obsessed fans, continuously go after James Gunn for no reason at all. That's why I call someone like him toxic. That's why I call the people that are obsessed like him, who have this derangement like him, toxic. That's why I do that. Because that's all it is. And I encourage any one of them. If Rizvi Azad wants to come on my show and talk to me about this, if he wants to have a conversation about this, I encourage him to come on here. I encourage anybody ever to come on my show and have these conversations. Anytime ever. I have shows Mondays and Wednesdays. I'll make it work. I have an open call to anybody like that because I want to find out why they're like this. For Yule to be hyping up James Gunn just shows how desperate and copium you guys are about DC and cinema. Because I'm hyping up James Gunn shows how desperate I am. No, I'm not desperate. I'm not desperate. I'm excited because I want to get back to DC in theaters. I want to get back to being excited about seeing DC movies in theaters. I want to have a connected universe. There was a point in time I had a coworker, actually I had a couple coworkers, where we would sit on our breaks at work and we would discuss what the possibilities were for the DCEU. He was actually on on my old podcast. He came over a few times and we just would discuss that kind of stuff. Like, what are the possibilities for the DCEU? This is where we think it could go, where it should go. And it never panned out because we were just so excited about the potential and the possibilities of building a DC universe because we love the DC character so much. And it never panned out. It never happened. But right now, they have the future for the DCU is brighter. For the DC is brighter now in films than it ever has been. And no, it's not just because it's James Gunn in charge, but it's because they have a studio, They have a steady hand in charge. It's the first time that DC Films has ever had just one. I know Safran and Gunn are in charge, but essentially one steady hand in charge leading the way. They've never had this before. That's why I'm excited. That's why I sit here and say, look, we need to have an open mind. There should be hope for this. That's why I say that.